While we enjoyed listening to the Fender Rhodes electric piano and the rhythm guitar that were used in their original, we were wondering why there were no real live drums playing on that original recording. No shakers, no maracas, no bongos, nor congas, except the bass drum itself alone. That made the song too plain, too horrific, too bland, and too boring.
So Eric's using his half-speed trick again, which he obviously likes. I don't remember another record that starts off with the vocals being produced and then you playing along with it. But this seems to have started with just the vocals.
That's right, they created a guide backing track just to make sure they mixed the vocals in the right sections with the right balances. But once they had their correct vocal track, they then proceeded in the control room, which creates a very, very different atmosphere, played in the control room the rest of the instruments, the Fender Rhodes, the electric guitar, and curiously, no drums. This bass drum was actually created by a Moog synthesizer. Now, Lol had one of the very first Moog synthesizers in the country, and he'd learnt how to program it, so he was able to create this unusual, soft bass drum sound, which Kevin played, being the drummer, throughout the song. In fact, a real drum kit would have been overpowering on this record, so it suits the subtlety of the backing track. So you're right that they played along to a pre-recorded ooh backing track, which is unusual. So once they got the backing track to their satisfaction, they then subsequently overdubbed in the traditional sense.
And we would go around the studio looking for the sound of a bass drum, as we did for I'm Not in Love. We're trying to find a bass drum sound that wasn't a bass drum. And we were going into corridors and hitting biscuit tins, boom, or slapping our thighs. No, and eventually we had a Moog synthesizer, the first one that came out, the Mini Moog. And on a low bass note, boom, 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 and it's slightly oscillating all the time, boom, 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 just moving. And Kevin played it, the drummer played it with his finger, and that was the bass drum. That's the Moog bass drum.
Yeah.
And then those voices. 3 weeks of voices there. It was Kevin Godley who came up with the idea. So, well, why don't we do it with voices? Do everything with voices, the whole track, and we just have something to keep time, maybe a keyboard for an idea for a melody, and a bass guitar to do a bass guitar solo. Like that. And Lol came up with the idea of using tape loops, 12-foot tape loops, with masses of vocals on them. The four of us played the control desk like an instrument. 4 of us had faders each, going ah, 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 ah. And all the time was a chromatic scale just underlying the backing track of ah, all the voices, thousands of voices just sizzling in the background.
I'm not in love, so don't forget it. It's just a silly phase I'm going through. And just because I call you up, don't get me wrong, don't think you got it made. I'm not in love. No.
The BBC would not play it. It's too long. It got to number 28 in the charts before they played it once, and the rest is history. It was a number 1. And it stayed number 1 on the BBC Best Records of All Time for 10 years.
just a silly phase I'm going through. And just because